Hey family, good morning. Happy Sunday. Um, Hope you all are well. I'm still getting myself together from being in Haiti for like 10 days. So today I'm just going to kind of do a small check-in on just a few things. Hopefully I won't be too long today. But I definitely want to come back. Peace, sis, and just kind of check in. Haiti was incredible. Um, First of all, I want to start off by thanking everyone that supported. Like people donated things from tents to baby clothes to medicine to, um, money. I want to thank the CEO of JetBlue for allowing us to take all of those pounds of relief aid to the Haitian people, which helped us save some money. Which, when we got on the ground, we were able to buy a bunch of tarps and food and things for people. And so I'm just very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. The Haitian people are very resilient. And even though we were going to be of service and to check on our Haitian family, um, I got a lot out of the trip, honestly. I've never seen so many healthy people in all my life, like seriously. Um, Seeing people 60, 70 years old being able to walk up a mountain with things on their head and just incredible. So many healthy people, so many fine as hell brothers and beautiful black women. I mean, these people were black, um, no doubt. So when I hear us have silly arguments about who's black and who's not, these people to me represented what my ancestors looked like right out of slavery. In terms of the tenacity, skin was beautiful and flawless. And they were beyond resilient, because for them, um, how can I say this? Though they didn't have a lot of material wealth per se, the way we measure material in the United States or in the Western world, they were rich in a different kind of way. They were rich in a different kind of way. Um, I was just totally, totally blown away with just how beautiful they were, how healthy they were. I didn't see a lot of people with masks on, and they don't have those high COVID numbers. But I also believe it's because they are healthier in ways in which here in the United States we are not healthy. Let's just be honest. And so they're kind of eating to live, not living to eat. They don't have a lot of preservatives. They don't have a lot of talk from, say, Western kind of thought people who would like to tell you that you need medicine made in a laboratory to feel well. Their medicine is what they walked on the planet, So living in those environments, I think sometimes we like to render poor people in other countries what we consider to be poor. They're far richer than we could ever be on a lot of levels. So even though they're having all of these earthquakes and it's really, uh, it's bad when ceilings and stuff like that falls in on people. That's horrible. But they have something that we don't really have. And what they have is they have togetherness. They look out for each other. They love on each other. Even though their president was just assassinated like month before last, um, there's a whole nother situation behind that. It's not like they're, because people told us all these things, be careful when you go, the government's falling apart, but they are definitely in control of their environment because see, they run stuff by their small communities, so they have to depend on each other. It's not a perfect place. It is not utopia. Because when you say stuff like that, people are like, it must be, it's not perfect. Nobody said anything about being perfect. Remove that from your category because you don't even know what that word means. What I am saying is when you go to a country and the people are purpley black and they're beautifully black, um, there's not a lot of chaos with them. Like this is how they survive. They really understand that they're really all connected to each other. So they have to take care of each other. I think sometimes in America, we get really confused. Like we really get really confused because we're measuring ourselves by standards that we shouldn't even measure ourselves by. I think a lot of us are fighting for opportunity, and that's one thing. But I think when you look at how you run your house, your household, how you run your community and your family, which brings me to another case in point, and I'm gonna stick with Haiti, but I guess got to say this. So while I was there, I got the news the last couple of days I was there that Sister Dana, who used to be on Sunday Sitting with Sister, she was my co-host, had passed away. And first I got something saying that they were going to do a visual for her. And and then the next thing I got was that she had passed away the next day. And then it was an outpouring of how people felt about her, and which is beautiful. I often feel like in the culture in which I'm living here in the United States, we could be some of the fakest people on the planet, um, at least in my reality. Because when people die, we immortalize them, but in life, it's always a different story. Dana was a woman who definitely loved Black people. You know, she was in the Nation of Islam. She always did stuff down for Black folks. You know, but sometimes when you're a Black woman, and I mean, when you're a Black woman, you feel me? People sometimes have these expectations of who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to support. We'll talk about all day about wanting to have how much we love you when we die, when you die. But when you're living and you witness how people interact with folks, this is where you can really see if people really love you. So last year and parts of this year, I was having some health challenges. And so I removed certain people from my life. And on top of that, I started to really go inward and really work on myself with herbs and exercising and things like that. And so when I shared with folks that I was having some health challenges because I have kidney disease and a few other things, my diabetes and stuff like that, there were certain people who reached out to me immediately because they really do love me, not loving me based upon what I can do for them, but they love me because they generally loved me. They wanted to see me live. One sister who had a bout with weight, and I did a lot of stuff to lose a lot of weight and has kept it off years, reached out to me immediately and said, Sister Ro, every week I prepare my meals. Please allow me to prepare you meals so I can help you with your diet. Because my diet was really all over the place. So every week for 2 months straight, this sister made me pre-prep meals and talked to me about what I was eating. Then another sister, Sister Christy Ketchum. The first sister was Sister Bethany. The second sister, Sister Christy Ketchum, who does Sacramento Sister Circle. Christy got me to start walking 10,000 steps a day, and then she would walk with me in the afternoon. You know, different people came in. My nephew came over, cleaned out my refrigerator, cleaned out my cabinets, removing things out my cabinet. You know, folks checked on me, called me, like, you know. And I don't know if Sister Dana had that. Because in our community, when you work like a workhorse, people will ride you like a workhorse. We'll say queen and that we love you, but how we treat you, how we respond to you, when we see how you could be struggling, because they say that she died from COVID. But what I'm learning about COVID is if you have some pre-existing conditions, you're kind of already out the door a little bit. Let's just be honest. So it's kind of like being super, it's like the extra piece of hay that just took the thing over. We don't look at the health problems that people have because we're so busy taking from the person. You know, we're just constantly, all you're going to hear people say, the person did this, the person did that. But do we ever really talk about how much we show that person that we love them? You know? And you're absolutely right, sis. We should be giving people their roses while they're living. But in our community, we don't do a good job of that. You know, we say we love Big Mama or Mammy. I'm just gonna keep it solid because I always joke and say I'm not Mammy, but I know I have a Mammy stature and I'm okay with that. But it's we ride mommy with Mammy. Big Mama, we see her feet swollen, we see her moving slower, we know that she has health ailments, and we don't really step in like we're supposed to. If you had a diamond ring, people value their cars and their jewelry better than they do other people. I personally witnessed some males in our community, some Black men, talk to Sister Dana crazy as hell in the presence of other people. And then talk about how they love Black people and Black power and daishikis and putting their fist up and all that bullshit. But then you'll talk to this person like they crazy. And because she loved the movement, because when you're a Black woman, there's certain programs that you get to really be down for the race, to, take care of them no matter what they're doing to you. We're supposed to overlook, because I think what takes more people to their graves is that energy that gets thrown at us constantly, being talked down to, being, humiliated, taking a lot of verbal abuse is like, to me, is worse than having diabetes. To me, it's worse than kidney disease to me. Just the way we ride the women in our culture and how she delivers for you. When you sit back and look at people's lives, I often wonder, what was their relationships with their mate? Did that person have a significant person in their life? Because we talk all day about wanting to have good women and build Black nations, and most of those people don't even have a Black woman by their side. They know a lot of good ones, but they look past them because they really are looking for a big booty, some big titties, and somebody who looks like a white girl, but kind of with Black women features in terms of, assets. And then when that person died, we crying and falling over the casket, but you never once considered that person that you claim you wanted. So what I'm taking from Sister Dana's departure, because now, sometimes people be tired and it's their time to go. I think after my mom and my dad's passing, it really made me look at death very differently. Doesn't mean you don't miss the person. All of us are on a short journey here, you know. This is just one aspect of life, because death is a part of life. Um, I often feel like, sometimes it's people's time to go. I know Dana really, really missed her mother. See, we none of us even considered what that meant for Dana. And sometimes when people are leaving, it's because they have to join on with other people and do their work on a different level. And so me pumping money into her store, that, I'd rather just go ahead and write a check to her sisters or a granddaughter or a daughter. Um, I'm not just not with the bullshit. Like, I'm so sick of Pan African, conscious, daishiki, hotel, whatever you want to call them, Black folks, because if in the way we treat each other speaks volumes. Running to immortalize somebody after they die, but when they was in life, you treat them like some shit on your shoe. That's not cool. So that's why I've been pretty quiet on the situation. But what I'm taking from Sister Dana's passing is to continue to back up, to be very cautious of who I let in my circle, um, not to be in the pool of piranha people trying to save folks, to continue to do the work of working with Black girls and women in particular, to make sure they have all that they need, to make sure I'm role modeling what that looks like to do self-care for real, not self-care on some bullshit, but self-care for me is not just taking a break. It's when I live my life to slow down and don't put myself in strenuous situations that could lead to me having more health ailments. Because for me, it's not the moments where you take the massage and all that kind of stuff. It's how you roll through life and how you allow people to treat you. That's what I'm totally taking from Dana's passing. I look at Dana's health. There's some things about her health I really understand, because I'm struggling with those same things. I don't want to be caught amongst those who did not treat Dana well in life, but then cry about her in death. I don't want to be amongst those people who disrespect Black women, who talk to us like we have hind legs, who work us like a slave master. I don't want to be around those people anymore. That's why I'm not working with certain people. That's why I've been pretty quiet. And it's not just men. That goes for some women too. I've worked with some abusive Black women in my time. That's how I know that I'm grown as a human being. is that I just went ahead and let them go. You know what I mean? And God bless them and keep it moving to the left. But I'll never work with you again because I really value myself. That is self care. When you stop working with people who you know are abusive, when you stop interfacing with people because it is abusive, it is not good to your spirit, to your soul. So I reflected on Dana. I'm still reflecting on her, but what I'm taking from her leaving, because to me it's just an exit to a different reality. And as much as we talk about, when I was in Haiti, I got to see, you know, um, the importance of how they love on each other, which is why they can survive and why they're still healthy. And so I'm totally, totally forever impacted by what I've seen. I felt like I probably got more out of the trip, that I wasn't even expecting. But I feel like as a Black woman, I gotta protect my wound because the wound is where a lot of energy comes into us. I have to protect how I'm going to interface with people because you have to interface with folks who are rude and who are whatever, but I don't have to let them into my whole space. I don't have to. And it doesn't mean I don't love Black people because I do love Black people. I'm going to take care of myself because I do want to be here conversing with my elders, conversing with young people to welcome in the new life that's coming. I want to be here to do that, but I cannot be here doing it if I'm taking on a lot of abusive behavior and trying to so-called help them. That's not my job. That's not my job. I plan on being here, God willing. I plan on being here for as long as I can, but I'm also going to make sure I clear the space off. And so um, I definitely feel some way about Sister Dana passing, but I also know that you got to be very careful with who you interface with, who you let into your sacred spiritual space, who you let into your womb, to your body, to your mind, the whole nine. You really, really do. And so that's what I'm really taking away. Like being in Haiti during her passing, I think that was another blessing. I'm glad I wasn't here, you know, amongst the energy and amongst the people. I don't want to ever be around people like that again in my life. If, passing and saying hello is one thing, but I don't want to be in their spaces. I feel like sometimes we take a lot of people to their death by the way we show how much we love them, which is not showing them at all. Because we'll let them walk around here swollen and, with a lot of health ailments. And also them not being able to have the mate that they deserve. And see, we don't like to talk about that because we don't want to appear that we're desperate. I don't think it's a thing of desperation. I think we're being very honest. I know for myself, I've had good relationships, but I had one special relationship with a person I was with for like 15 years, and this guy gave me such gifts. I mean, he was like he is my soulmate, and what he taught me in terms of being in that sacred relationship, that one-on-one relationship, is what I am looking for. Hopefully, if I was getting to relationship again. That's really what I'm looking for because love should not hurt. Love should not be painful. Love should not be a bunch of drama and you crying and you feeling some way. Love should not feel like abuse. Person talking to you like you got hind legs. A loving relationship should not be you taking on somebody's baggage from not having a mama or don't like their mama or their daddy or the baby mama they had before. That none of that should be put on you in a relationship. And we should not be us telling girls that when in a relationship, you should be able to take all the abuse that you can because that's going to show how much you love them. No, we got to stop giving girls and women that message. Like that's not what a relationship is about. It's not about how long you could be around someone who is abusive and still take their stuff and show that you are ride or die. I'm not one of those people. I expect it to be treated as a queen for real, not as a queen insane. And I carry myself that way. So I can't be lowering my standards because you don't want to up yours. And you can still love Black people. Excuse me. You can still love Black people from a distance. I'm gonna always be on my post helping my people. But what I will not do is allow them to abuse me and call it Pan-Africanism and call it building a black nation and call it, bullying me around how I should spend my money or my time. I'm not dealing with people like that anymore. I'm dead serious when I'm self cutting people off. I'm so very serious about it. So I am very sorry and saddened, not sorry, but saddened by the passing on of Sister Dana because she was a great person. She was a very soft and caring and courageous person. But I also know when I look back at how the community she was in, how they treated a person who looked like Dana. That's a whole nother topic. But how they treated her completely as a human being just wasn't pleased. And I know some of that is, I think how Dana dealt with that kind of was like, we're trying to build a black nation, so that's a part of it. Abuse is never a part of it. We should be, if you are a heroine, or heroine as they say, then we should be treating you with the utmost respect. There's no reason why our sister hadn't really got into another relationship again because she was a beautiful person. And so, besides all of the crying and the mourning that we will do, I hope we would reflect. I hope we will reflect on Dana's life and taking some notes. That's what we're supposed to do. When I look at my mother's life and her mother's life and her mother's life and the women I so respect and admire who have passed on now, I'm constantly taking notes. I'm constantly thinking of how could I do some things better? Because I am role modeling myself after a lot of people who impacted my life, but I'm also role modeling things I'm not going to do because I need to be here, hopefully, long enough to see generations that I want to touch in the physical. So that means I have to do something different. I have to love a little differently on myself. I have to be more aware of who I allow to be in my circle to so-called love on me. But the abusiveness that we have in the so-called conscious, black, Afrocentric, whatever the hell we call it this decade community, that shit has to stop. And so the best way I can stop it is not to participate in it. And that's why you don't see me showing up in those spaces anymore. Sometimes that's why you don't see me going to shop places or go to certain events. I'm done with all of that. I'm done with the messaging. You know, I have been blessed enough in my life to work under some awesome people who did some extraordinary things, and I was right there helping. So that I am very grateful for. And then it comes a time in your life where you have to like let all some of that stuff go, in terms of when the stuff and the shit got toxic. And then I had to back up and be like, that's not me. As I approached this 50th go around the sun, um, in October, I'll be 50 years old. And that's significant to me to live to be 50. A lot of people who I really respect, they struggle getting to 50, and some of them did not get to 50. And so I'm very grateful if the creators allow me to get to 50. Uh, I'm gonna be so grateful. But I'm also going to try to do some things a little differently as I'm improving on my health. I do a whole shift plant based now. Like I did a whole shift in my life, where you could have never told me I was never going to be eating meat. But because, when you get older, you're supposed to get wise, you're supposed to get smarter. I know sometimes we like to think, wisdom doesn't come with age. Well, in my tradition, it does. I've been very smart and I've been very mature in my life, but I feel the difference in terms. I feel older, and it's not about the bones aching and nothing like that. There is something which you say, I've been here before, I've seen that before. No, I already did that, so maybe I should be doing this. I don't feel as rushed as I was before. I'm not trying to go everywhere and do everything and be. I'm like not doing that right now. I'm so okay with moving a little slower and appreciating things more. I appreciate taking a long hot bath. I really appreciate playing with my great nephews and nieces. Like I'm so appreciative that I can still run with them. I'm so appreciative that I just get to watch and wonder when they're discovering things, or I'm so appreciative because this is a road that is not traveled by many. Some of us are not going to make it this far. I've known people who did not make it to 50, let alone 52. So that's a significant number in my mind. So I'm praying to go past 52. So when I think about that, and then I reflect on people who I have respect for, and I'm watching how they move, you know, I just want us to celebrate. And I think that's another reason why I do the Men of Honor, why I do Grandma Hands, why I do the Black Excellence Awards. I feel like we have to celebrate people while they're living and role modeling what that looks like when we say thank you to people so that they can hear you in the flesh. There's nothing like going somewhere and people have this outpouring of love for people supposedly, but when they was walking around, we did not treat them very well. And then we called that being down in the movement. It's like, no. I remember talking with some Black women who were in the Panther Party in the 70s or late 60s. And they talked about some of the things that they experienced inside the Panther Party in terms of how they were treated. And they were telling me, because they were older when they were talking to me, and they were telling me, um, we were doing it because we thought that's what was going to move Black people forward, but that did something to us, and it made them hard, and it made them bitter, and they talked about that. I felt so grateful to be able to hear them tell me what's really going on without feeling any shame about it. And they were saying, man, sometimes you do things because you think you're moving your people forward, but actually you're really hurting your people. And so, as they shared that with me, I thought to myself, I got to be very careful as I grow older. I have to be very careful the way I'm role modeling how you grow older. You know what I mean? Are you going to be okay with yourself and where you are and how you feel and how you look and how you interact with people? Are you going to be okay with that? And so I reflect on that. And I don't know about y'all, when someone dies that's close to your age, it makes me feel some kind of way about my own self. You know what I mean? Because dying 49, 50, that's too damn young because you're just discovering yourself. Hell, some people, I don't even think Sister Dana was even retired from a job that she's been on forever. She didn't even have a chance to retire. So it's just stuff to think about. So, even though Haiti was incredible, but I got to see a lot of elders look super healthy elders. Some of them walking up mountains that I was out of breath and had to take several stops to catch my breath. They were like 25 years older than me, or to hear children laughter. One thing that happened to me in Haiti, I had went to the store. We were buying like rice and beans and oil for the people, and I bought some popcorn and these little crackers that come in these little packs for the little kids. There's a lot of little kids. And so we passed out the crackers and the popcorn. And to hear these kids laugh, like they were eating, but they were just laughing. And it's been a while since I heard laughter from children. That sounds weird, don't it? But I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't heard children laugh, just purely innocent joy. They were laughing, and I was watching them eat their little popcorn and cookies or the crackers I gave them, and they were just like laughing. And it was like this beautiful laughter. And so for me, it made me think of at some point in our life, we were all right there. But I feel like we live in a society where we don't get to hear children laugh, not laughing at someone, but it's like an innocent laughter. They were sharing their little popcorn, they was eating and making faces. And it was just the sound was just so beautiful. And I was trying to equate that when I've seen a bunch of children together laughing, just to be laughing, just to be silly. When was the last time I heard a bunch of women and girls laughing just to be laughing, just to be silly, not at the expense of someone else, but just the thing of laughter. And I wonder how much of that do some of us have in our lives. So it's just something to think about. So I'm not going to be on here too long this morning. I got on here kind of late. I'm going to attempt to make some kind of nice vegan meal because my sister's going to come over my house today. Dottie's going to come over, Courtney, and I got to make something with Cindy because Courtney. But anyway, um, but we're going to watch Respect together and just kind of reflect. Um, yeah. So that's all I have to say this morning, family. I wasn't going to be long, but I had to talk about Haiti a little bit. I was trying to show y'all some pictures. Let me see if I can get some pictures in here real quick. Bear with me. I don't know how many of them lifted up. So let me just see if I can show y'all just a few little pictures. If this thing will allow me to. I don't know what this thing. Computer, excuse me, be tripping. Let's see. Tell me if y'all can see this. Okay. I'm going to take that as a yes. No. Yeah, you can. Okay. So this was what we took. This to show y'all a little bit of the pictures. This is all the supplies. So all together, we had like 6 containers and a suitcase. And because a reverend, I can't remember his name, out of the Bay, he knew the CEO of JetBlue, and he allowed us to ship all of this and did not charge us. So we was able to use that money. Sorry, wrong way. We had to use that money to basically buy food and other supplies on the ground. So these are the brothers at the airport, and this is us driving on this long drive to where we were going in Haiti. I'm sorry, I'm gonna kind of bring this back. Oops, sorry. Maybe this will take me back to where I was. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show y'all some of these pictures real quick. So bear with me, because I have a lot, but I'm not gonna come on. I want to show y'all these Haitian people. First of all, they were just beautiful. So I'm gonna get to that. But let me show you some of the, me, I have to always talk to the people. So this is when we drove up. This is a hospital we went to. And because the earthquake was it was devastating, they could not be inside this hospital because, it wasn't safe. And, a lot of roofs and stuff collapsed. So they basically tended to people outside. So this is their tents. They have a bunch of tents outside, and that's where they're treating people. And this is Javon. I step back. This is Javon giving them a box of supplies with medical things in them. We gave them more tents and some things like that. That is a huge tarp at the top that they have, which they use to treat people. This is the mountainside. We were in the country part of Haiti. We was in the country in the rural areas, and we drove through all of this stuff. Um, these are some of the houses that collapsed during the earthquake. The little boy just happily skipping. This is the tent that me and Javon stayed in for a few days because you could not sleep in the house, so you literally had to sleep in the tent. For us, we had tents, and they had like makeshift houses. It was Jay. So there I go with this hat on that has a light under it. This is a young lady here. I always mess her name up, but she wants to be a doctor. She's absolutely beautiful. And this is her brother. And he's like, she's 18, he's 25, and he wants to basically do a lot of things around agricultural and work in the land. And just beautiful people, just really beautiful people. This little baby was so cute. This is a lot of devastation with the housing. What the heck just happened? Hold on, y'all. I don't know what I did. To my little great nephew laughed. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm just going off of my pictures. I wanted to show y'all what some of this stuff look like. I'm gonna get to the people in a minute. But I want to show y'all some of how the devastation of where they are. So here we are in the front. That's our tent. That's the truck that we were in. But this is devastation. Stuff just fell all in on the people. So needless to say, they were quite happy when we brought them all those things. Um, This is, I'll take you inside. This is Javon. That's the inside. All this stuff just fell in. This is all this stuff here, you know. Um, that's them. That's all this stuff in there. So it just was devastating. And what they really need too, donations and stuff like that is great, but they also need some engineers to come and to help them maybe figure out how to build some homes um, that can be a little bit more resistant to earthquakes. Because in San Francisco, they have buildings and there's always an earthquake, and those buildings don't always fall down. So I think maybe with some better engineering design, because they have a land, you know, there's another. This is how people, and if you see those, that's wood right there that you see, and then they just put a tarp up over it, so they can have shelter. And they have some tin roofs, and they made this so that a family in a community that lost everything could have a place to sleep. So one thing I will say about people in countries like this that I've learned is that they know how to stick together. They don't have social service agency. This gentleman right here climbed a tree and got his coconuts. Like, it's just amazing. People there are just beautiful. Um, and there's the coconut. It was delicious. That's me and Javon. This is me. Just that looks so good. You see my eyes? It's like, oh Lord Jesus. Okay. So, and these are three brothers right here. And that was their dad you seen on the ground. Um, just resilient people. And so when I see the Haitians, I really do see my sisters and brothers. That's what my family looks like. You know, I look at just beautiful people. They look like people that I know. And of course, if you know me, I had to do a photo shoot. So I got them to laugh while I did their photo shoots. And there's our dear brother Max, who was our translator and driver and extraordinary. He did a whole bunch of stuff. He arranged stuff for us and everything else. It's a young sister here. She was so beautiful. I love the word. It's another sister here. To me, she looked like uh, Jackie and these. I mean, just beautiful. Just the people are just so. Look at this little girl. Look at her smile. He was just so beautiful. And when I even looked at the here, look at this little boy. He just because I was showing them all their pictures. This little girl was so funny. I mean, she was just so adorable. Look at her hair. They also beads are big there too. So I remember my mom plaiting our hair and stuff like that. She looked like one of my relatives in Philly. So just beautiful. She got her bonnet on, you know, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful people. So anyway, family, Haiti is just beautiful. I'm looking at this young boy right here. He's sitting up on the roof, and we're literally driving around the mountain in the car in front of us. So anyway, family, it was just Haiti was just beautiful. It's beautiful. So I hope y'all enjoy your Sunday. I hope you enjoy your Labor Day weekend. And take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. And I will talk to y'all during the week, as I always do. All right, family. Peace.